Yo, Dave, congratulations for the album Psycho Drama. I have heard politicians on about psychodrama and Tory psychodrama, so I asked my smart speaker to give me a definition of it. Gave me the definition of it, which is what you do on the album. The one I like best is the Leslie explicit. You know, it's about 11 minutes long or over 11 minutes long. The Channel 4 News did 11 minutes special on me one time when they won prisoners' right to vote. I'm very interested in prisoners' rights and prison law, that kind of thing, and I'm aware that your dad got probation and that your brother is doing a life sentence for murder. I've done this 35 years in prison myself, so, you know, I've become quite an expert of it. But I went in a lawbreaker and eventually came out being a lawmaker, whereas the state went from lawmaker to lawbreaker. You know, what a transformation, eh? And it's like Boris at the moment. Fuck the government, fuck Boris, yeah, Stormzy. Anyway, just thought I'd say, I'm interested in doing a collaboration with you sometime. If I know, don't dismiss me as a crank. What I'm going to recite now is something I wrote way back in the summer of 1973 when I was in Wandsworth Prison. HM Prison Wandsworth Blues. Out of my window late at night I gaze and watch the stars, but do not see them clearly, and hear the trains, but do not hear them clearly. Inside my mind I turn about to keep myself awake, but I'm not there entirely. A part of me is out in the dark landscape. How much am I than what I think? How much what I feel? How much the eye that seems to keep stars straight? Do I control what I can contemplate, or is my vision amenable? Now deep in my bed I lie, and the world turns on the other side. HM Prison Wandsworth, summer 1973. There was writing on the prison wall, Dave, and it just said these words: no hope, no dope, no rope. I would have added can't cope before that, because there's something like 80% of prisoners inside have been excluded from school. 70% are carer leavers. There's those with Asperger's syndrome, those with ADHD, those with post-traumatic stress disorder, other disabilities. You know, they just throw anyone into prison, and they're wanting to build more prisons. Now, the way forward is less prisons, smaller, more manageable units. I hope we can get together, you know, and do a collaboration. I was going to get in touch with Stormzy or someone like that, Burner Boy. But then hearing about you on the TV, winning the award, and then listening to the track, and I played album, I played it several times on my smart speaker, you know, and I'm really into it. Anyway, talking about another Dave, call me Dave, Dodgy Dave Cameron, the man who committed fraud with the referendum. The whole thing about the referendum is it being a fraud, and I've alleged that with homicide police, only they're loth to investigate. They don't think politicians can commit crimes, apparently. like fraud. But anyway, so you've got Dodgy Dave in there, with a homicide police crime number and a 9-digit investigation number, but that's as far as they've taken it. But the whole point about this is, if I'm right and it was a fraud committed by David Cameron, the government and the Tory party, then the verdict of the referendum is null and void. So we go back to square one, which is the only sensible option if you think about it, really. I mean, as it stands presently, you've got choice of the good, the bad and the ugly. The good is Remain. The bad, it was Theresa May's deal. And the ugly is Boris Johnson's preferred idea of a no deal, and then turn the country into a tax haven for the stinking rich, like Jason Rees-Snob and his sister, Annunciata Rees-Snob. She joined this Brexit party with Nigel Farage. I call him Nigel Farage because he's always foraging for votes. There's no difference between Boris Johnson and Nigel Farage. They're both extreme right-wingers. They're both racists. Nigel Farage, I wasn't upset when he turned his back on Parliament and showed contempt there, and the whole party did. But I was upset when he turned his back on British war graves at the commemoration of the Battle of the Somme. He turned his back on British war graves and cried over German war graves. What the hell? I know his wife's German and his kids have got dual British-German nationality. Talk about having your bread buttered on both sides, Nigel Farage. You're a fraud, Nigel. So Bob Geldof was right, you are a fraud, mate. And you had your AFD mate there on the boat with you, didn't you? Yeah. Talk of the devil. Anyway, that's Dave Cameron, Nigel Farage. Now, if we move on a bit, we've got Boris Johnson with his deal here, his no deal. The whole thing about him is, he is a fraud. He is a fraud himself. He's a liar. He's a proven liar several times over. There was him stealing a cigar case when he went on some field trip to, was it Afghanistan or Iraq or Libya somewhere? And he looted it. He eventually had to hand it back. But it's 3 times he's been sacked for lying. And he's stolen that cigar case. There's the police being called to a flat. There's his misconduct in public office with having this model, so-called model, ex-model, the lap dancer, the pole dancer, going to her flat for, what was it, let's not mess about the bush. He was going there for sex, titillation, and the public were paying for it, and he was writing letters to her so she could get a £100,000 job. She must have been a good ride. Anyway, we'll leave those there for now, and let's get on to the titless wonder who is Victoria Derbyshire. Recently, she had a murderer on the programme, claiming that she was a victim of coercive control from the husband that she murdered, hitting him over the head 18 times with a hammer, FFS. She claimed on the programme, this Sally Challen, she claimed on the programme she didn't recollect putting the hammer in a handbag, really. Oh, a lipstick, mobile phone, keys. Oh, the hammer, which I don't recollect putting in there. She recollected it when she whacked him over the head 18 times with it, didn't she? Oh, I've just recollected I put the hammer in my handbag. As you do. Yeah. At least she gave it the condemned man the last meal, went down the shops in the rain to buy him sausage, egg and whatever it, bacon. That was to get his back to her whilst he sat at the table. He allows her to go and get the ammo out of a bag and come in behind him. You know, the whole thing. I mean, if anyone was doing coercive control, it was Sally Challen. I mean, look at it. She checked the phone, found out from 1471 who he'd called. And that's when she's decided her ideal isn't going to happen. He's chosen someone else. And it's a question then of, well, if she can't have her, then no one else is going to have her. It was pure murder. Never mind this diminished responsibility later because of a change of law. And then after that, Victoria Derbyshire had, the former Lord Chancellor on, the one Tony Blair's pad mate, Charlie Faulkner. And although there was on about the case with this Nick and what have you, but he did give reference to the McCanns being victims. They may well have been victims of hacking, but they certainly weren't victims of the British media, other than that. And certainly they weren't victims in Portugal. Let's face it. The only victim there was Madeleine McCann, the 3-year-old, who disappeared under the control of the McCanns. Madeleine was never there when they went out that night. She'd already died or been killed or whatever. Kate McCann was in the flat, apartment 5A. The 3 children were there. One of them didn't survive whatever happened. And then she gets in touch with Jerry to come back. Wouldn't say why she needed him back on the phone or by text. He comes back from playing tennis and puts poor Madeleine in a sports bag and goes off and puts her somewhere until he can dispose of her later. That is the reality of the situation. I can't prove most of that. But the PJ did actually book their apartment, only they couldn't use this information because they'd obtained it unlawfully. Anyway, that's that. And now we've got Dana Johnson. She's up for deselection. Well, she should be, because she's a traitor. I mean, she sold me down the river on prisoners' votes to back Tony Blair, the war criminal. Yeah, that's my thing on that. And now she's just come out on TV saying, oh, you know, she's been saved by having a breast scan. You know, she got rid of the cancer. If she's after the sympathy vote, well, I certainly won't be giving her one. She needs to convince me that she's in favour of human rights for everybody, including prisoners, and their human right to vote. That's the only way she'll get my vote. I won't give it to anyone else except Lib Dems, but there you go. You've got Jo Swanson. She'll jump into bed with David Cameron, Dodgy Dave, but she won't jump into bed with Jeremy Corbyn. Speaking of whom, a couple of weeks back, Sunday Times it was, Rupert Millidowler's phone hacker Murdoch, he had Jeremy Corbyn, loser. But he went on Andrew Marr's show. He was no loser. He held his own. You know, I mean, I thought Andrew Marr was losing after his stroke. You know, I thought he lost his sharp edge, but he marred, Nigel Farage. And then he marred Dominic Raab, C. Nesbitt, total tosser he is. Then he marred Priti Patel, Idi Amin's secret love child. Yeah, she's going to terrorise prisoners. Anyone who terrorises is a terrorist. Don't forget, she was the crook who went over there and said she was going to take aid money from the Palestinians and give it to Israel to buy arms to kill Palestinians. Plus, she's in favour of the death penalty. Bad bum and that. Anyway, getting back to Jeremy Corbyn, I think if he didn't win the issue with Andrew Marr, then at least it was an honourable draw. But then to hear him at his conference, by God, it took him by storm. We just had the Supreme Court decision. But, I'm blind. I couldn't watch, but I could hear. And I thought, he's the next Prime Minister. He gave a Prime Ministerial speech at the conference. I know Rupert Murdoch's papers don't like him and the Telegraph doesn't like him. That's Boris's own propaganda sheet, isn't it? Then you've got the Hitler-supporting Daily Mail, or Daily Malice as I call it, and then you've got Dirty Desmond's Daily Express. Alt-right newspapers. Talk about free press, Christ. Thank God for the Guardian and the Independent. Oh, and the Daily Mirror. They've got a new political editor, apparently, someone called Pippa Longstocking. I hope she gets in touch with me soon. Well, that's it for now. I've said enough. Over to you. Stay tuned to this channel for more news bulletins from me. Jacob! Jacob!
Yeah.
Will you turn it off now?